All you lovers gather round because it is the most sacred time of the year. Halloween, children. Halloween. It's a time where lovers gather at night to have a good fright. But we all do know that with joy sometimes comes pain. And oh, Gravedigger Queen can't just have fun and games. Tonight's tale has one of the big three. You got vampires, werewolves, ghosts, or Frankenstein monster. That third slot is debatable. Comment below. We have a family of the damned attempting to get their life straight. It's a tale of werewolves and fury, guts and gore. On the floor. I must warn you, children, this tale can get pretty dicey. Instead of me trying to figure your trigger, why don't you look down below and see if it hits any of your boxes? That being said, I have a lot of work to do. At any rate, let's see some murder and mayhem. Violence on a furious scale. Tonight's tale is called Life Demand Sacrifice by Montsho Shelby. As for me, I'm gonna let this tape run and then I'm gonna start shooting zombies because that's what I do. Foggy mist surrounded the forest. 4 figures emerged, one being a rather studious older blonde man on a horse, dressed as if ready for a fox hunt. He huffed on a long pipe and stared at 3 naked people, visibly breathing out the cold. Atop his horse, the older, stately, blue-blooded gentleman with a resting long rifle in the crook of his elbow relit his pipe. He breathed in the cold for a moment, ignoring the 3 new people's obvious shivers, twitches, and discomfort. You may want to ask yourself, how you got here? Why am I here? All the typical questions that being in your situation entails. But I bid you, do not, for tonight is not a time for words. We make sacrifices every day, but one of you will make the ultimate sacrifice tonight. For the time of rebirth is at hand. Just know that one of you that survives the ordeal will be held in the highest esteem for enduring, for even participating in this ritual. For this is a dance more sacred than, who knows, said the old man. After the man made his speech, 2 men emerged from the mist with a sparsely clothed little Asian woman. They dropped her to the cold dirt. Her eyes darted like a cornered animal. Take it in, said the older blonde man. The 3 new people began to sniff the air with a violent fervor. Take it in, for the 2 that are fastest in finding your prey are pack, and the last is not. The 3 naked people began to inch closer to the little Asian woman with impatience. She twitched and yelped. The woman broke free and ran off into the darkened woods. The lordly fox hunter touched his long rifle in warning to show that he was not going to let anyone at the girl just yet. The 3 naked people spoke in whispers amongst themselves while waiting for the hunt to commence. Is it true? We would never kill Pack, said a pale-skinned man with piercing eyes in his 20s with hair as dark as death. Don't be the last and you'll never know, said a fit woman that stood amongst the nude people. Is it a test? They will not kill the last man, said the man with uncertainty in his voice. We should make a pact amongst ourselves and not break it, to stay strong and not let anyone die. I make no such promise, said the eager woman. The young hunter said nothing, but understood the stakes. And you? The young man said to the last man who had been silent up until now. The silent hunter appeared to be of a black Asian mixed heritage. He didn't acknowledge his competition at all. Whether he was in his own head or employing a tactic was uncertain. The older man smoked his pipe blissfully, then looked down to his impressively expensive pocket watch. You may go fetch, the older man proclaimed. The unclothed hunters itched to get into their skin, their true skin. Very quickly, their bones pushed and cracked, skin stretched and tore. They became the embodiment of wolves, but in between the shape of men. The monsters howled with glee and stalked into the woods. The wolves stayed relatively far apart in their furious sprint, each sniffing at the air, navigating the wilds like apex predators. One wolf's predatory eyes caught a glimpse of the prey, attempting to travel near water to cover her scent. The wolf made for the little woman, who had no idea death was upon her. The beast ripped into her shoulder, clamping so hard and violently the arm just fell off. The girl cried and attempted to pick her arm out of the river. The monster backed off, and the other two predators emerged with their glowing eyes reflecting off the moonlight. The woman did herself a favor and passed out before she had to watch herself be torn apart. The champion wolf fished the woman out of the river before she floated upstream with his huge teeth. He violently drug her back to their point of origin. Like a faithful hound, he dropped the mutilated dead woman next to the old fox hunter, who nodded his approval. The other two lesser hunters emerged from the woods, and they all began to revert into forms closer to man than beast, but not quite close enough to pass for either. The fox hunter clapped slowly with his rifle resting on his lap on his horse. "So who was last?" he said nonchalantly. The fox hunter said rather seriously from his well-manicured horse. "I think I was definitely clear on the fate of the loser, was I not? You were obviously first. Who was last?" The silent hunter, the man of mixed heritage, the champion, spoke.
"Both were equal losers."
His voice was harsh and scratchy, giving off a violent reverb. The two looked at each other, deciding what was next. "Only two of you are coming back. I don't care which," said the older hunter, huffing his pipe. The two werewolves looked at each other, then decided they'd rather dogpile the winner than fight each other to the death. They transformed into an even more massive wolf than before, bigger and more violent. The champion made an equally jarring transformation of his own that rivaled the other two. They tussled and fought, tooth and claw, as the ways of old. The female slowly began to revert to her weaker human form as the gift of the wolf left her. The mounted hunter fired off a shot into the air. "Only one. Pick up your sister and come with me," he bellowed with authority. The two survivors transformed back to their human forms and picked up their dead, rended sister. The fox hunter led his pack to a cavern mouth in the forest that belched streams of white mist. The cave was covered in moss and plant life. When glimpsed from certain angles, the green canopy began to take on the characteristics of a human face. Though subtle, there was a mystical bent to this secret hideaway. The older hunter dismounted his horse and took the bloodied body of the naked woman. He walked with her into the misty cave opening.